Hello everybody, NGS here and welcome to Spice and Wolf 2024, the remake edition, or whatever it's called actually. I think the full title is something like Spice and Wolf, Merchant Meets the Wise Wolf, yeah. Okamito, Ko Shinroi, Merchant Meets the Wise Wolf, so the remake got a subtitle. I've never seen the originals. I've never seen the original 2008, I believe, show, nor the second part in 2009. I've not read the source material, whatever the source material is. I'm not entirely 100% sure if it's manga or light novel or both or a game. Probably not a game though. So I'm going in basically blind into this series. I only know that the main girl is named Holo, and that until this very day she's one of the biggest waifus out there. And apples. Somehow there are always apples in like her fan art and stuff. Those are the only three things I know about this show. And I also know that the original run is somehow of a classic, I believe, right? Like people really put it up on the pedestal of the shows that you basically had to see, right? Kind of like, I don't know, Madoka Magica or K-On!, right? It's in this sort of group of must-see shows, according to some at least. So I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to finally see the classic. I believe I heard that the original run did not include everything from the source material. I think there was something like that, and there are hopes that this remake will be more true to the source material. I don't know. Again, I've not read the source material, I've not seen the original run, so I can't really tell. I can't really talk about my hopes and dreams either. We're just gonna have to watch it. I honestly don't know what to expect. I don't know whether it's going to be a slice of life show where they just travel from town to town selling stuff and chilling by the riverside and eating and then traveling and watching the sunrise, and it's just going to be a feel-good travel show like Frieren but without the combat. Or is there going to be something to it? Maybe some sort of a mystery, maybe some, I don't know, something wrong with the world that I'm gonna be able to slowly decipher. I really don't know what to expect. Is it gonna be a comedy? Is it going to be serious? I don't know. I've absolutely no clue. And yeah, it makes me a little bit afraid because I usually like to know at least a little bit of what I'm getting into, right? When I'm watching an isekai, I know more or less what to expect. When I'm watching a rom-com, I know more or less what to expect. This one though, I have absolutely no expectations. I have no idea what am I just going to see. So I guess we're just gonna have to see it, right? If you're new to the channel, the usual format of the video is that I do my intro, my initial spiel, then we watch the show with subtitles, because YouTube otherwise would strike the video. Then we watch it again here in the corner. Then I'm gonna also in the corner check out the studio, the people responsible for it, etc, etc, etc. And then I'm gonna give my closing thoughts about the episode, and that's where it ends. And I'm gonna shill my Patreon and subscriptions and stuff like that. So I guess without further ado, we should just start watching the first episode, right? It came out yesterday, I believe, but my usual source was late providing it. And also yesterday I visited my family because it was like the Monday after Easter. So yeah, I'm watching it today, a little bit late maybe. Hopefully it's not gonna kill this video on YouTube. That's the hope. But right, again, without further ado, you're gonna need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show. And I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below or not. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching episode 1 of Spice and Wolf 2024 in 3, 2, 1, go! Also, I believe it's a 2-core show. Like 24 or 25 episodes. A C, then. And that's the tale that we will witness right now, is it? And it's her. They forgot the wolf, yeah. And the harvest was bad, and all the villagers died of starvation. She went with the merchant, probably. Nice music, by the way. Reminds me of the band Clannad? A little bit. Not like the opening song, but the song that we heard during the conversation. Is this the opening? I think so. A church, rarely a good omen in anime. Although, I mean, it happens that the church is actually the good guys, sometimes, rarely. In Sahet and Paladin, for example. Not often, though. That's a very wide card. The Harvest Festival and the crowded driver's box. Crowded by the wolf who will join him, I assume. Pelts? Pelts. Ooh, okay. So, pagan tradition of worshipping the wolf goddess and whatnot versus the church that's like, oh, the god of light is the only deity you should worship or whatever. Okay, so there might be something more to it than just traveling. Holo. So Holo is a title of some sort. Yep, a tradition probably. A wolf is hiding in the last bit of grain. Hmm. And thus Yari became the wolf. Whatever that means. Yeah, don't get distracted. Oh, that's really nice. That's really nice watching traditions like that. Yeah, we captured the wolf. Now, yeah, okay. Now he needs to sit there for a week. Wolf effigies. Hmm. So I wonder what kind of a lesson are we going for here, or what kind of a theme? It could be either the gods are unnecessary in the age of science and crop rotation, or it could be science and the crop rotation depletes the fields faster, it's better to pray to the wolf. Are we in favor of tradition, or are we going to be against the tradition? I wonder. I like that so far we're not going for, I know, like an armed intervention, right? Like the villagers having their festival and the soldiers of the local lord just run in, start slaughtering people, right? Filthy pagans submit to the god of light, right? Holo? The real Holo. Probably. The villagers don't want me anymore. I want to travel with you now. Or the villagers don't need me anymore. I want to travel with you now. Kemono Mimi, of course. Naked? Naked. We wouldn't have it any other way, would we? I honestly expected her introduction to still take a while more, but no, just straight away, 9 minutes into the show, we're already introducing her. Wait, what? It's been 9 minutes already? It has. Holy shit. How the time flies. And the tail. Can't forget about the tail. Like your soul. Hmm. Possessed by the devil. Yep, the real one. The Yare dude? Oh, no. The deity. Yes, yes, she is. A demigod, then, or something of the sort. Past the polar circle. And she's asleep. You're not gonna get any answers. Use those spells to make her a coat or buy some clothes. Yep. Yeah, she doesn't want to go back to the village that doesn't want her anymore and will forget her soon enough. Okay. Thankfully, blood can be substituted. No, it's probably a painful process. At least not long. And she's obstructing the sun, isn't she? She's casting the shadow. Oh, or it's just nighttime. Okay. I guess that also works. Oh, not keeping with the traditions. Not staying in the barn for a week. Yeah. Of course. That's how it goes, doesn't it? Traditions turn into superstition and then they disappear. More often than not, with the help of the local church. Yeah, helping each other. Starting a nice mercantile relationship. And he's down. I wonder. I wonder actually, can the like new method of growing wheat given to them by the Lord offset the fact that Holo is no longer protecting their crops and influencing the harvest? Assuming she was able to do that in the first place, but probably. And she's inside of the sack, isn't she? In her wolven form. No, no longer. She came after you. Oh. She can jump to it. Interesting. Okay, so she didn't turn into a wolf, did she? Or did she? Doesn't seem like she did. Huh? I don't know. We saw this like big wolf in the opening, so I thought that's gonna be her, but Yare? Or one of the like previous mares. Right, it does deplete the soil, doesn't it? But it was necessary to let the soil recover. Back north, perhaps, to her homeland. Perhaps to a village that does need her. To the moon. North. So the first one. Okay, we have the goal of her journey. At least you have some clothes now. Not exactly fitting, but better than nothing, for sure. Wait, do you have a skirt? Why do you have a skirt, man? acceptable. Yes. Shake on it. We're making a deal here. Or just step down. I guess that also works. No, it's a very wide card, actually. Okay. Okay. I'm down. I'm very much down for the journey. Here's the effigy. Here's all the people we've met and will meet. And here's an Eilish. Eilish? What? What? Never mind. Never mind. I wanted to use eyelid, but I also meant like whatever. Whatever. She's wearing different clothes, so I assume he bought her a new set. Studio Passione and Kadokawa. Of course it's Kadokawa, it's always Kadokawa. Mischievous Wolf and No Laughing Matter. Alright. Alright, let's see what that matter will be next week, of course. But right now we're gonna watch this episode again. Shall we? Yes, we shall. So it's Hollow's memory. Oh. The girl on the left is a wolf and she has white hair. Lawrence has white hair. Hollow is a wolf. Am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? I think I am. I think I am seeing what I think I'm seeing. If you're unfamiliar, and you probably are if you're new to the channel, this is my green notebook of theories. Whenever I have a theory on some show, I take note of it, and after it's done, I go through all those theories. How much space will I need for Yuuna? It's been 3 episodes and I already covered almost an entire page, so I'm gonna leave myself a couple more pages. And I'm gonna write down Spice and Wolf. Wolf, not Wolt. Spice and Wolf. A little bit further. The young girl from the beginning of episode 1 is Holos and Lawrence's daughter. I think it's a safe assumption. It would bring bountiful harvest of wheat, but the people would use the phrase, yeah, the wolf is running, all the nomenclature about the tradition, connected with the tradition, but they forgot. No one remembered the promise. It just became stories. They started doing the wheat themselves, and the wolf moved to her own adventure. It's a topic, this show in general, so far at least, the general vibe, the, like, again, topic of this show is very close to me, in a way, because it seems to be a story about that passing of the old gods and the new comes in, enforced by the church. I'm Polish, if you didn't know. I'm from Poland, and Poland suffered exactly this. We had so many incredible pagan traditions. Then the Christian church came and was like, oh, that's paganism, don't. Here, praise praise the God, praise Jesus. Do this. Destroy your fucking stone circle, build a church. Right? So it's really very close to me, because I always mourned that fact. But at the same time, Polish beliefs, and in general, I mean, I don't know Slavic beliefs in general, but at least in Poland, and thus I assume in other countries in the same culture sphere, plenty of those traditions still remain. For example, wheat. There is that weird, like, merger of Christianity and paganism. For example, at the beginning of harvest, you have to pray to Holy Mary, I believe, and then you throw the first grains of wheat in the pattern of the cross, and then you have to pour some spirit or vodka, and you have to, like, make the sign of the cross, and it's that super weird merge of those both cultures, of those both, like, religions, and plenty of pagan traditions are still alive as they are. For example, burning and drowning an effigy at the end of winter to welcome spring, burning the personification of winter. And when I was a kid, we would do that in a small pond by the church. And nobody cared. Nobody gave a fuck. It didn't occur to anybody that, shit, those are, like, pagan traditions. But we're Christian, aren't we? There's that, like, weird merge here, and it's super interesting to me to see something like that happen in this show. Like, okay, the church is still there, and the church enforces their beliefs, but we are playing this silly game of who's gonna be the wolf. We are hanging up effigies of wolves, stuff like that. I love it. I really, really honestly do enjoy those themes in this show so far, and I hope they stick to it. I hope it's like an overarching theme. Opening. I was afraid that the whole entire opening is gonna look like this, because it's not. I mean, it's artistic, sure, but it's just not nice to look at. It looks like mold. I'm sorry, but this looks like moving mold. I know it's supposed to be like a painterly wheat field, but it just looks like mold. Thankfully, we quickly get out of this imagery into scenes from the show, I would assume. Some of them perhaps drawn and animated for the purposes of the opening specifically, but some of them really seem like just something that was taken out of, I don't know, episode 7. We see this exact frame, for example, and they just ripped it out and placed it in the opening. Probably exactly what's gonna happen. And we see many more characters. I wonder if we are going to deal with perhaps other deities. We have Wheat and we have Holo. Holo is connected with Wheat. She resides in the last pieces of wheat on the field. And here we have this girl with her sheep. Perhaps there's a deity that protects the flock. And maybe they also have some traditions, and we will see those traditions. And maybe that deity will also want to travel with us? Probably not. Somehow I get the vibe that it's just going to be Lawrence and Holo. He's not going to be building a whole harem of deities who feel they're useless. Probably not, right? Probably not. But yeah, maybe we will meet some other traditions and see how they transfer into this new world with a unified church and state-imposed religion and stuff like that. Maybe, just entirely my conjecture. I really like the design of Hollow. I love the red eyes and I love sharp teeth. Sharp teeth are big thumbs up, red eyes are another big thumbs up, and she checks both of the boxes. Enough said. Very white card. Clear weather, yeah. A blockade on the road because there are heretics. Pagan festival. Why are you blocking the road, though? Like, you clearly allow for this festival to happen, right? You clearly allow for those heretics to worship their pagan wolven god, and you block the road. You don't do anything more about it. I really don't see much of a point in what they're doing. Or they're trying to, like, catch the heretics. They don't know that it's the village. No, probably not. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what the point is. This is, from, like, this point on, this is just amazing. I love it. The last bunch of wheat is where the wolf is resting. The last sheath of wheat is where the wolf lives. You catch the sheath of wheat, you catch the wolf. And you become the wolf, and you need to try to run away, howl like a wolf, and the villagers chase you. And if they catch you, they shut you in a barn to not let the wolf escape, to not let the goddess of harvest escape. It's great. You never hang the horseshoe, like, pointing down. You always hang it up pointing up, because if you do that downwards, then the luck will leak out of the ends of the horseshoe. You shut a deity of harvest in a barn so that she doesn't escape, and so that harvest is good next year as well. It's great. It's amazing. I love it. I genuinely do. For a week, no less. And the effigies reminds me of... Is there any, like, proper translation of this to English? Dożynki in Polish. Does it translate? Come on, Wikipedia, faster. 12 languages. English, yeah, English is included, and it translates to dożynki. In Ukrainian, dożynki in Russian, obżynki, different, like, versions of it. It's a festival, basically, where people take their harvest, like they do take wheat here, and they make big, like, wreaths out of it, and whichever village in the entire gmina, like area, collection of villages, makes the best, they win a prize from someone, and it's the whole, like, big thing, and it's a pagan tradition. But those wreaths then get, like, sanctified with holy water, and the local priest is always present, and there's always a mass for it's great. It's amazing. And I love seeing those bits and pieces of it here. Actually, now that I think of it, the name Yarei and the style of the buildings here, is it meant to be, like, general Slavic part of Europe? Yarei is a very Russian sounding name, like east of Poland, basically. I don't know. Yeah, maybe, actually, though. I mean, Harvest Festival. The era of praying for the old god to the old gods has ended, but we have new methods that the Lord taught us, and they bring a load of silver. A metric load of silver. I genuinely have to wonder what will be the running theme here. Because there will be a theme. It's way too not ham-fisted, way too heavy-handed. Them talking about the old gods, etc., to not be a running theme. And it could be either we don't need the old gods because now we have fertilizer and crop rotation, and we can just do that, and we figured out when we need to let our soil rest. We don't need Holo to enforce that. We can manage on our own. We don't need the old gods anymore. It's a nice tradition, right? It's nice to have a festival of harvest. Everybody is happy when the harvest is bountiful. After all, let's, celebrate it. But not much more than that. The gods are not necessary. Or is it going to be in the other direction? Like, yeah, sure, we have the fertilizer, we have crop rotation, we have the technology, but shit, am I the only one who thinks like the wheat, the grains are like smaller nowadays, right? Do they have like less nutritional value perhaps? Are we doing something wrong? Maybe it was better to rely on the help of the deities, maybe something like that. I don't know. Could very well be. As a side note, there genuinely is much less nutritional value in produce nowadays than it used to be back in the days. Because if you remove the nutrients from the soil, you can't exactly easily replenish them all with fertilizer. So yeah, I think the statistic is something like nowadays you would need to eat like 3 apples to gain the same amount of vitamins and microelements that you would otherwise have from a single apple in like the 60s. Something like that. But yeah, it's a thing. It's also a nice running theme in the Outer Worlds game, so if you're interested, that's a nice game to play as well. Regardless, here items like purchased of a payment deadline. Right, yeah. Harvest Festival. And here we meet Holo. Sleeping in a cart full of pelts. I was initially about to question, wait, she's sleeping inside of the pelts of her brethren. But no, those are probably fox pelts and she's a wolf. The fact that she has like red hair makes me believe that she's a fox, but she claims she's a wolf, so maybe like a, I don't know, red wolf? Could be. Kemo no Mimi, yep. Truly a deity, isn't she? Certainly presents in that way. What a beautiful moon. She has a peculiar speech pattern, I noticed. I don't know Japanese good enough to be able to like fully identify it, but I think she's speaking in like old school formal language. What tips me off is that she sometimes says the like ja sound, and I usually associate it with some like old old formal I don't know, kind of grandma like language used. I know I might be completely off base, but just something that that I noticed. That's a very ornate dagger. This episode, initially, I was kind of afraid and uncertain of what this show will be. I thought that perhaps it will be just traveling, seeing like pretty landscapes, and that's it. And we travel to a village, we do some trading, we see a nice vista, we hear some nice music, and we maybe help someone, and that's gonna be it. And there's not going to be much depth to it. But bits and pieces in this episode really make me believe that there is some depth to it. The fact that a random merchant like that has an ornate dagger, it means something. I believe. What the church is doing, trying to weed out the pagan traditions, that's important. The fact that the new Lord brought new technology for farming, that's important. There is depth to be found there, but we don't. It's not told outright. We have to find that. We have to spot it. And I'm gonna enjoy the process of finding those bits and spotting those bits and noting them down. I know I will. My name is Holo. Yep, the deity of harvest. Not a deity, as she claims. She's only Holo and nothing more. I wonder whether it's her being humble, essentially saying, they apparently don't need me anymore, so I'm probably not that useful, so I don't deserve the title of a deity. Or maybe she claims that, oh no, there are like stronger gods than me, I'm not that big of a deity. Or is she legitimately not a deity? She's just a demigod or a magical creature, simply. Magical creatures alone would have more magical power than humans, so to a mere human it would probably be indistinguishable from being a deity. Maybe. Magic is probably very, very rare in this world. We also hear interesting bit earlier on about demonic possession. There are demons. There be demons around these parts, huh? Interesting. I wonder if they are actually demons, or is it the church painting magical creatures like Holo as the demons? That's the easiest way to weed out the local religion, isn't it? Take the local deities and proclaim them demons, and whoever worships them, they worship the devil. So burn them at the stake. Right? Oh, the harvest was bad? Well, that's because you worshipped the demons, and not the Jesus. Let's praise to Jesus our Lord for bountiful harvest. Or let's find some saint. Yeah, let's create a saint. Totally not a deity, by the way. Saints are totally not deities. Absolutely not. It's a monotheistic religion with 3 deities at the top, but they're like the one and single deity, so not, but, we're just recontextualizing things a little bit. That's the usual modus operandi, isn't it? She was born up north in a place called Yoitse. Wise Wolf Holo of Yoitse. If you're a person, I'll turn you into the church. Right, because... so there is a distinction between a person who is possessed by a demon and between a magical creature. And magical creatures are not against the church, but demon-possessed people are. Is that it? Probably. That's at least what I'm getting here. I hate the church. Of course she does. Of course she would. The church is destroying the faith in her, the belief. It's destroying the traditions. It's destroying her home. Basically, she had no choice but to run from there, lest she be cornered by the church and burned at the stake as a demon, right? You can stay with me if you really are Holo, the god of harvest. Blood of the living or some wheat. Yeah, wheat works. And we only see a blur of white hair. She suffers a little through the transformation. And then just... literally frame to frame. Yeah, in the span of a single frame, she turns into this blur of white hair. And we don't see her form. We don't see her wolven form. Interesting. Is this going to be like a big mystery? Maybe. Yeah, it was supposed to be offerings for Holo. But it would be a waste to leave it to a wolf, wouldn't it? Right? Let's eat it ourselves. Let's take the sacred things that people leave for the deity for bountiful harvest, and let's eat it ourselves. Let's not stick to the tradition of being locked in the granary to not let the deity escape, and let's just get out of the granary and let's just let her escape. Let's not care of any and all traditions anymore. It's just superstition. It's just superstition. It's just an excuse. And yeah, they have a initial relationship because they're helping each other. A village that has very expensive wheat and a merchant who wouldn't be able to buy wheat from a less expensive place. And yeah, they managed to grow together, help each other out. Even merchants from large towns come to buy our wheat. And he's negotiating the prices because he learned from the best, of course. I initially thought that Holo is hiding inside of this white bundle of cloth that he brought her for some reason. But no, she apparently resides inside of the wheat. Why did he bring the wheat, though? Or is it his wheat, or is it just random wheat laying there? Yeah, he brought the wheat. Why? I mean, we hear initially that it's like a very special kind of wheat, right? Selectively bred to be very resistant, and he probably didn't want to leave it out. But is it really that much more precious than the fox pelts that you left in the cart? I don't know. I live inside the wheat during the harvest. I am the last piece of wheat. So it is true. It's not just superstition. It's not just legends. She truly lives in the last piece of wheat. Amazing. And I wonder if this will be a plot point. Holo living in wheat is a plot point, and in parentheses, lost, stolen, destroyed. I can easily see something like that happening. Someone stealing that bit of wheat and feeding it to their horse, and Lawrence panicking because holy shit, you ate my wife. Or maybe getting stolen or lost, or right? Something like that. I can see that being a plot point. But she can escape to a larger amount of wheat than the last sheaf of wheat nearby. And so she managed to escape into his wheat, and yeah, we don't see her true form. Interesting. Humans show fear. Sure, they would be afraid of a big bad wolf. There was once such a person in this village who forged the contract. Having many bountiful harvests is hard on the land, so there were times when I had to create bad harvests. Yep, you need to let the soil rest. One of the first methods of farming, not first methods of farming. First method of farming was spread the grain, let the grain grow and collect, and whoa, why is the harvest getting worse? That was the first method. Then they figured out we divide the field in 3 parts. One is left barren, or maybe with some grass or something. The other is growing some less needy plant, and the other one is growing the needy plant. And we cycle them so that every third part of the field has the time to recuperate. Yeah, fields and soil needs time to gain nutrients back. Their thoughts of me have grown quite bad these last few years. Right, why is the harvest so bad? It must be because of the deity. It must be because of Holo. Holo was fickle. Holo was angry. She did it to us. Right, but when the harvest is good, do they show the same amount of appreciation? That's a question. They will have bountiful harvests without me? Probably, with the technology they now have, with the introduction of fertilizer, I would assume. And we are going north, back to her home. The effigies are no longer there. Laying on the ground, trampled. And yeah, from now on we're traveling together, and Holo will have to earn her keep by, I don't know, helping him trade, probably, or maybe they're gonna stop by a village that has issues with harvest, have Holo bless their harvest, and it's gonna be better, and we're gonna be able to go back there and buy more apples for cheap, because they have lots of apples now, because Holo blessed them. Maybe. Just an idea. Just an idea. You know what I enjoyed the most in this episode? I just realized. Nobody was portrayed and nobody was framed as being evil. The church, kinda sorta, maybe, but not really. Because even the villagers themselves kind of brought the Holo to the rank of a superstition. I'm not sure how big of a hand the church had here. The village wasn't attacked by the soldiers. Yare wasn't shown to be like actively, I don't know, malicious in any way. Just believing that, yeah, those are superstitions and not willing to engage with them. Nobody was really portrayed as being evil, as being the real bad guy that we have to fight. Maybe the church, although in the opening we see a priest who's smiling. And if a priest is smiling in a way like that, they're probably not bad. They're probably the exception to the rule. Although, I mean, that's not a given, of course. And why does she have a potpourri? I know, but she does. Mischievous Wolf and No Laughing Matter. It's going to be a very episodic show, isn't it? Every episode is going to be something. There's not necessarily going to be like an overarching plot, overarching story. That's, again, that's the vibe I'm getting here. The vibe I'm getting right now, though, is that we need to check out this show on AniList. And I see there are still remnants of the April Fools. They just replaced the apples, I assume, with onions and Shrek. Good shit. Okay, so the source material is light novel that's still releasing. Honestly, after this many years, I fully expected the novel to already be done, or whatever the source material is to already be done, but no, apparently not. Recommendations: Soso no Frieren Mushishi, Maoyu Maoyusha, Economics, Kemonomimi, primarily adult cast, rural, historical, heterosexual work, foreign gods, politics, adventure, fantasy, romance, source light novel, and Studio Passione. Let's start with that. What did Studio Passione made? Oh, and by the way, if you have no interest in watching this segment, you can just skip it. There are timestamps down below. This year they're gonna be making Omuroke, whatever that is. Oh, it's a spin-off of Yuru Yuri about this girl and her sisters. Right. Ishura. And before that they made Seiken Gakuin, Isekai Meikyu, Renai Flop, Mierko-chan, Ishizoku Reviewers. Anything else I would recognize? Bang Dream, Citrus, High School DxD. At least one of the seasons of it. God Eater and Hinako Note. Not much in their portfolio. Quite a few heavy fanservice shows. They have like a very wide spread of the shows they're making. They have some basically pure unadulterated fan service isekai. They have some horror shows. They have basically light hentai, some slice of lifey, cute girls doing cute things. Interesting. Interesting that a fairly small and not particularly prominent studio like that would get a high, highly prolific story to remake, because the original is still there. You have to remember, the original is made by Studio Imagine. Very similar designs. They didn't really change basically anything. Studio Imagine, who made Spice and Wolf 2, and they're 12 episodes each. Meanwhile, we are looking at 25 episodes. Okay, so 12, 13 into 25, the same amount of episodes. But yeah, the original Studio Imagine made, again, not much. Really not much, and yet they were given a license to this story. Interesting. Let's check out the staff first. We don't have many people listed. So, original story and original character designs. Let's start with that. Original story by Hasekura Isuna, who made original story for Spice and Wolf, to the surprise of nobody. Some other, like, wolf adjacent. That's just White Holo. Is that Holo's daughter? Is that like light novel about their daughter, or manga, I guess, because manga stuff rolls. Is that manga about her daughter's adventures? Could be. And some other manga and light novels, I'm assuming, as well. And Ju Ayakura, the original character designer, also for more Holo and manga. Risa no Himo Seikatsu, Glorious Hearts, Kuroshitsuji illustrations, interesting. Imagine Sacramento, and Holo, of course. Spice and Wolf, rather, I should say. Alright, interesting. Let's check out the rest of the staff. Chief Director and Director. Chief Director being Takeo Takahashi, who also directed, storyboarded Higurashi, chief director on Kyoto movie, so other shows by Studio Passione, director on Rokka no Yusha, director on Dakaraboku wa Age ga Dekinai, Papa Kiki, storyboard, 2 of the episodes, Yosuga no Sora, director, Seiko no Quasar, hey, Seiko no Quasar mentioned, storyboard on the ending and a couple of episodes on Seiko no Quasar season 2. Aki Sora, of course. Ichigo, 100%, smash hit, love, love. In Rosenmaiden, yeah, a couple of episode direction on Rosenmaiden. Key animation and storyboarding as well. Interesting portfolio. Rail Wars, 3 episodes storyboard. And Hijiri Sanpei, who is the director on Spice and Wolf, also directed, assisted in the direction of Rokka no Yusha, Citrus, and Higurashi, episode director on a couple of episodes. And Maoyu Yusha, assistant director. Then we have character design, Koji Haneda, who also designed characters and did other things for character designer for Saihat and a Paladin. There we go, immediately a show I recognize. Animation director for a single episode of Tate no Yusha. Persona. Shokugeki no Soma. Assistant chief animation. Precure, Psychopass, Love Stage, this horrendous looking yaoi show. Seiko no Quasar, again, animation director on a couple of episodes. Anything else? Aki Sora, of course, recognizable. Initial D for stage. Guns. Machromantic Helsing key animation on episode 5. Boogie Pop Noir. and Rachzephon. Who else would I like to check out? Art director. Sure. Art director, and let's check out the art designers as well. The art director is Kazuhiro Inoue, who also did background art for Fate, art direction for Idolmaster, for Bastard, Higurashi, and Grisaya, couple of seasons of Grisaya. Then we have Toshiki Amada, who's the art designer for Spice and Wolf and also for Bleach. I think those are the like new Bleach shows, right? Maybe, I'm not sure. World Trigger, 86, Bookworm, Eizouken art design, interesting. Kagegurui, Little Witch Academia even, Kisnaver, that's a nice portfolio. Reiji Obata, similarly art design, also background art for an OVA for Blue Archive. Dolls Frontline, art design, Blue Archive anime PV, Holy Night Light, PV from Arknights anime PVs, and Fate. A lot of work in gacha anime, gacha shows, gacha PVs. And Kaoru Aoki, also art designer here, also on Urusei Yatsura, also with Shrek, of course. Isekai Oji-san, art design as well. Moriarty, Blend S, www.working. I've not seen this one. I've seen all of Working except this spin-off. Persona, Maoyusha, Papakiki, Upote, more Papakiki, Ladies vs. Battlers. That's a name I haven't heard in a good while. I'm gonna have to rewatch it one day. Ladies vs. Battlers was interesting. Who else do I want to check out? Music, sure. Music, sound design, and theme song. Music, Kevin Penkin, Australian anime composer who also composed for Tower of God, Kusuriana Hitorigoto, Tate no Yusha, Eden, Star Wars Visions, more Tate no Yusha, Made in Abyss, more Tate no Yusha, Made in Abyss, and not much more than that. Tomohiro Yoshida, sound designer, sound director mostly for Strike Witches, World Witches, Strike Witches, Brave Witches, and a lot of anime that I probably shouldn't be showing here live on YouTube. Well, live, not edited, pre-recorded on YouTube. Oh, that's the wrong tab I closed. Clarice is responsible for the opening. Japanese singing group, and they also wrote theme song performance. Oh no, they're making the ED. Also opening for Likoreko, Magia Record, Blue Archive, Hatarakusai Bo, Magia Record, Eromanga Sensei, Niskoi, Madoka Magica. Yeah, that's a prominent portfolio. Oreimo. And Hana Hope does the opening, and also did the opening for Hametsu no Okoku. And not much more than that. Interesting. Animation, sure. Let's check out the animation, and then we will see the Seiyu. Laz, animation director. Also animation director on Gridman key animation on a single episode. I don't recognize any of the other shows. Aoi Yamane, also animation director. Higurashi, pretty much everybody was involved in Higurashi. And Misumi Konno, also Higurashi, and Seiken Gakuin no Maken Tsukai. I guess that's gonna cover the stuff. So let's take a look at the characters. And the Seiyu. First and foremost, Holo and Kraft. Holo being voiced by Ami Koshimizu, who also voiced Tsukuyo from Shangri-La Frontier. She only appeared in a single episode. Anybody else I know here? Project Red from Arknights. Yang from Ruby. G36, Girls Front Line. Anybody else I know? Not really. Yamashiro from Azure Lane. Charlotte from Strike Witches, Karen from Code Geass. And some other roles. Hiro from Darling in the Franxx. Would you look at that? More Karin. Ibuki from Danganronpa. Tule from Gate. D'Artagnan from Samurai After. Shola from Soul Eater. Yukiko from Persona. Not many more roles that are immediately recognizable to me, I'm afraid. And looks like Holo also in the original show. So they got the original voice actress for that. Yui from Conan. And let's just quickly go to the oldest roles. Oldest role was Yui in Conan. Okay, so she's just the voice actress of Yui. And she will be the voice actress of Yui until she retires. Probably. That's usually the case. Jun Fukuyama. Yeah, Jun Fukuyama, who's the voice of Kraft Lawrence, and also the voice of Clayface from the Suicide Squad anime. And they put Shrek in here as well, of course they did. Seed from the... whatchamacallit? Can't remember the English name for it, but you know what I mean. The vending machine from Vending Machine Isekai, someone from Liar Liar, Funeral from Black Clover, Jackalope from Milgram, Sensei from Totsukuni no Shoujo, and I can't say I recognize any more. Oh, Kamu and Kamui from Punishing Grey Raven, or at least from the Panini shows. Minis, I guess I should say. Lelouch, okay, he's the voice of Lelouch v Britannia, or Lelouch Lamperouge. Ren Amamiya, so Joker, am I right? I've never played Persona. Popcom from Pop the Pig, of course. Anybody else that I can recognize at a glance? Grell from Kuroshitsuji. Koro Sensei from Ansatsuki Yoshitsu. Someone from Danganronpa, more Lelouch. More Lelouch. More Koro Sensei. Traiken from Amaburi. That's finally a familiar face. Ataru from Defrag. Defrag is great, by the way. Go and watch it if you're looking for a nice comedy to watch. Yukio from Aono Exorcist. Aono Exorcist got like 2 new seasons recently or something like that, and I don't think I finished watching the first one. It was big back in the days, though. It was really big. Who else do we have here? Sota from Working. And that'll do it. Next we have secondary characters that have not appeared yet, but let's check them out ahead of time. Nora Arend, voiced by Mai Nakahara, and Zeren, voiced by Daisuke Namikawa. Mai Nakahara voiced Akagi, Blaze in Arknights, someone in Ars no Kyoju, some princess or something, probably. Some people in Shadow House. And then we have Nagisa in Kanigado. Who else do we have here? Mifuyu from Magia Record. Rumi from Girls on Panza. More Blaze, more Mifuyu. Someone in Danganronpa. Rumi from Girls on Panza again. Oh, Suzune from Makoka no Rettosei, which again got another season recently, apparently. I never thought it would get more seasons after the first one, but apparently it's a big franchise nowadays. Figures. Haruna in Durarara. Sernia from Ladies vs. Butlers. Okay, let's get to the very end of it. And the first roles are in Conan again. Amy and Rhea. As well as some roles in Dot Hack. Someone. Okay, that'll do it. Daisuke Namikawa, the voice of Zeren, whatever you want to say. French in Sasaki to Pichan. Someone in Jujutsu Kaisen. The bird duck thing in Pokemon. Masaru in Rokudo no Onnatachi. Lindel from Mahatsukai no Yome. Finally, a more familiar face that I can put to a voice. Italia in Hetalia. Or Italia, I should say. Someone in BNA. Rotom in Pokemon. It's always funny to me seeing like Pokemon mentioned in the voice acting portfolio. Like, your role is just saying Rotom, Rotom. I want to get paid for that as well. One Punch Man Season 2. Someone I've not seen Season 2 of One Punch Man. Actually, I think I've seen like 2 episodes and then I just dropped it. PP Meme, who hasn't voiced PP Meme. More Lindel, and that's about it. And the last 2 people are Hochu Otsuka, voicing Marheit Lichten, and Hozumi Gouda, or Guda, voicing Hans Remelio. Hochu Otsuka, voice of Zetur in Yojo Senki. That I recognize. Retsu in Mahakakoko no Rettosei. That I recognize. Someone in Baki. Enrico Forgieri in Nanatsu no Makengashi Kaisuru. Who else? Rat King in Lee's Detective Agency. Those are some recognizable roles and recognizable voices. That's for sure. I mostly know him from being Zetur in Yojo Senki, though, admittedly. PP Me, but who hasn't voiced PP Me? Everybody voiced PP Me. I might have voiced PP Me. And anybody else? Jiraiya in Naruto. I have not watched Naruto religiously, so I can't really tell. Snake in Magic Kaito. And then we have Hozumi Guda, who voiced Jeff Enker in Majo to Yaji. And also Ase in Dorodoro, also Popko in Pop the Pipik. Also Budo in Akame Kid. And I don't think anybody else that I would recognize, especially not with like the lack of portraits. All the way to 1983 as Chiriko Kyuvi in Sokoku Kihei Votoms. That looks interesting at the very least. What the hell is that? Some sort of a sci-fi show, huh? 52 goddamn episodes, alright. Alright. And that's it. That does it for the staff involved. And that also does it for the episode. So, I very much enjoyed my time with this episode. It's a nice first episode, I think. It's a nice opening, and really got me invested and got me curious about the world. That was actually one of my biggest worries. Will this show have something to interest me? I usually try to avoid shows that are just slice of life, for example, where nothing ever happens. Where you have an arc of going to the convenience store, or you have an arc of trying to cook. Like, what am I supposed to say? Right? Am I supposed to laugh at Chihiro-san spilling the tomato sauce? Because I can, but that doesn't really bring much worth, does it? How am I supposed to comment on it? How am I supposed to go through the episode again and repeat my comment or wonder about I wonder if the cat that they've seen on the fence, I wonder if that's going to be relevant somehow. All right, maybe it's going to appear, and it doesn't work. And I was afraid that this show is going to be fantasy, or at least, well, yeah, fantasy, clearly fantastical elements, a fantasy equivalent of a slice of life show, where they just get their cart and they go town to town and they buy some onion and they go to another town and they sell some onion and we see a nice sunset and they drink some wine and a nice music plays and the episode ends. I was worried that it's gonna be that, but thankfully I can see at least some depth in it. The involvement of the church, the apparent war on pagan practices, the changes in power structures in this country, whatever that country might be, right? You don't get a new ruler of the local fiefdom for no reason. There has to be a reason for that, right? The inclusion of new ways of farming. Where did they get them from? Who invented them? Why is the church spreading? What's going to be the future of magical beasts like cola, right? All sorts of things like that are there. Enough for me to think about, enough for me to wonder, enough for me to stop for a moment and talk about it and take a note. So that fear has been alleviated. Now, granted, I don't know if that's going to be the case for, like, the entirety of this show. It might very well not be. It might very well just be a slice of life with 2 significant moments during the entire season. Could be. But so far I'm liking it. So far my fears have been alleviated. So I think that does it. Actually, I was also afraid of the adaptation because I knew that it's Studio Passione responsible for that. And Studio Passione doesn't strike me as one with a particularly amazing portfolio. And meanwhile, this story, the story of Spice and Wolf, has rose into my mental ranks of anime to the level of something where you want a good, a very fucking good adaptation, where you want to make something with the budget of motherfucking Frieren to fully pay respect to the original. And I knew that Studio Passione is not that. But it seems like they're pulling their, that's not the correct term to use here. Yeah, pulling their weight. It is a correct term. They're pulling their weight properly. It seems nice so far. There weren't any, for example, I was afraid that the horse and the carriage are gonna be CG. but they aren't. And it's kind of sad that it's like a big talking point nowadays that the carriage isn't CG, but it's a nice thing that tells me that they put some care into what they're making. So I'm glad that it's another concern of mine that got very quickly alleviated. So I think that's gonna do it for this episode. That's gonna do it for today. And yeah, I think that's it. So, like this video if you liked it, subscribe to be notified of future videos like this one, also Yuuki, Yuuna, Metallic Rouge, plenty others that will be coming in the future. Tell me what did you think of this episode, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that in the comments down below. No spoilers, please. I want to experience it myself, purely blind from the standpoint of someone who never knew anything about Spice and Wolf. So if you do want to talk spoilers, you can do that, of course, on my Discord here, also linked in the description. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below. On Patreon for $10 a month, you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Yuuki, Yuuna and others, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. You can also support me directly on YouTube via memberships, super thanks, super chats if you want, and if you don't, you don't have to spend any money whatsoever. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And you can also click the bell icon to be notified when I go live, because I do live stream sometimes. And with that, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Without a Net, The Group Survivor, Zayrin, Absolution, Yuuki, Ishtamu, Marcos, and Dr. Watt, Akamancer, Marsh, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to reside in a piece of wheat.